Hey YouTube, how you guys doing tonight? Kevin here coming at you. I was driving the Virago and it was sputtering a little bit, and at one point it wouldn't even start. So I pulled the spark plug out to check the spark, and these are where I left off. So you can see how they're carboned up pretty bad, and obviously fouled. These are shorted. Both plugs I'm trying to talk about because my wife is sleeping. But both of these gave beautiful spark. Gave absolutely beautiful spark, but would not run the bike. Which promotes me to do this video because this is something you all need to know. Just because you put your spark plug terminal on the end and you see spark on this end doesn't mean it'll run the bike. What happens is when it's installed in the bike, the spark jumping from the electrode to the ground is not hot enough to burn fuel. Okay, if that makes sense to you. It's a weak. It's even though it's bright, it's still a weak spark. Now I tried using this to see if the bike would even start, and I don't like using this stuff. But this is a quick indicator if the bike will start. So first thing I did was I pulled the plugs out, blew them off. Check the spark. I had spark. I gave it a quick shot of starting fluid and tried restarting it, and it wouldn't even start on starting fluid. At that point I knew I had spark plug issues. The reason why is because this stuff is more of a alcohol. It has a higher flash tolerance than gasoline. So when you spray with starting fluid will start faster than gasoline because it's more volatile. So yeah, like it says right on the can, quick start in extreme cold weather, effective to minus 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so that stuff is extremely powerful. So if you can't start a bike on starting fluid, especially where it has spark, then you have a spark plug issue. Real easy to tell. Now I went with a hotter heat range. These are BP7ES. I actually went with a B9ES. Like a I have like a resistor plug. I get some plugs in here. Like a BR9ES, but without the R. The R is a resistor plug. These things always give me a hard time. They foul and they short. Now to test the resistor plug, you can just put your multimeter here and here and see if you get a reading. See if I have one real quick. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. Alright, so what you would do is if you had a blue plug that says resistor on it, you would stick one terminal on the top part of the plug. Where is it? Right here. And then you would stick the other one on the ground. If it was shorted, you would have a reading. Where this one has no reading, it's a good plug. So, hear that sound? That's a short. But this one's obviously not shorted. So that's how you can tell if your resistor plug is shorted or not. But even if it's not shorted, it can still be fouled. So with a resistor plug, you have two things that can go wrong. So I don't like resistor plugs. Anyway, really tired. I've been working my butt off lately, guys. It's been crazy. So I figured I'd do a couple of things I want to talk with you about. You can see this plug right here, how it's got the tannish in the inside there. That is a normal running plug. That's how your plug is supposed to look, except you can see how this one's oil fouled. Because at the end, it started to foul. But that's what a normal plug would look like, minus the glaze. Okay, it shouldn't look shiny like that. So be that color without the shine. Be a dull finish. And even though it's a resistor plug, it's good. So that's what it looks like, and that's what a normal plug is looking like. So let's talk about my plugs. My plug is fouled It is fuel fouled, and it also is very carboned. So that means I either have the wrong jets in there, or the wrong carburetor settings, or even the wrong spark plugs. Now, since I have a custom exhaust on my Virago, I had to open up I had to put bigger jets in it. I didn't open them, but I had to put bigger ones. Excuse me. I had to put bigger jets. I changed the heat range on my plug and see if that changes things. If not, I have to switch to a different jet. So, but these jets that are in here seem to run the bike the best. But if that's what my spark plug is going to look like, then I either have the wrong heat range or the wrong jet in there. So we'll go back on that. So, I get a lot of questions, guys. A lot of questions, and I love answering your questions. So we're going to talk about spark plugs for a little bit. So if your bike is sputtering, kicking, and farting, that does not need it. It needs an ignition coil. Once again, the ignition coil is a 6 volt, and they never go wrong. Okay? But I still have people replace the spark coils thinking they have a wrong coil. They buy a coil, and next thing you know, Kevin, that wasn't the problem. My reply, I know. So it could be a points, or it could be a bad plug. I'm going to tell you guys how it should go when you guys are diagnosing your bikes that aren't running right. Okay? First step you do, go to the parts store and replace your spark plug. That's the first thing you do. Always replace your plug first. It is the cheapest, easiest way to do it. To try to diagnose your vehicle, your bike, change the spark plug first. 95% of the problems, spark plugs. Yep, that's it. I'm not kidding you. Spark plugs. There are a lot of things that go wrong with plugs. They carbon up from long jetting, clogged air filter, bad fuel filter. All kinds of things will change the outcome of the burn. Okay? So the gap, incorrect gap. Bad fuel, bad oil. So you want to make sure you have the proper stuff in your bikes. So, let's address the installation of the plug first. Never put a plug in dry like this. This way it should not have been installed. I always use a dab of anti-seize, Permatex, okay? Just one dab will do you. It goes on there. Here's what it does. It coats all the threads. It's a lubricant, and it will not let this freeze into the head. Okay? So you'll be able to get it back apart without ruining your threads. Next thing. I see a lot of heads coming to me. Kevin, I stripped out the spark plug hole. Okay. Well, how come that keeps happening to me? Because you're over tightening the spark plug. Use a torque wrench. The torque specification is 24.4 to 29.8 Newton meters, or 18 to 22 foot-pounds of torque. Okay? Use a torque wrench. Torque them. That's the best way to save your threads on your head, and you won't over-tighten it, and you won't under-tighten it. Okay? And this is not just a gasket. Excuse me. Not just a washer, it's also a gasket. Keep that in mind. Okay? Next thing you can do. So you have your never seat on your plug. You have it torqued down properly. And if you have the boot with this style head, use some dielectric grease on your boot. If you have this style head, don't put any lubricant on it. Just slide it on there. Okay, so there's that. And then, oh God, I'm so sorry about this, guys. I can't help yawning. I'm very, very tired. I'm doing this video very late. And I'm just trying to get it done for you guys so you guys have this info. I can't help yawning. Okay, so next thing we're going to talk about is spark plug gaps. That's a plug gapper. That's a plug gapper. these at the auto parts store. And there's a plug gapper right there. The most accurate one is this wire one. These ends right here are for opening up the spark plug. Doing this one-handed. And that's the tool to open up the gap. And then you put the, the adjacent one on, and it tells you what size they are on them. This is an old one. 25 thousandths, 35 thousandths, 8. So, make sure you gap your plugs. Make sure you put a dab of never sees. Make sure you torque them. Then the plug is done correctly. Now, I get a lot of people, Kevin, what's the gap on my KE100? Well, I broke it down for you guys because a lot of the bikes I service here on my channel are KDs, KMs, KHs, KCs, KEs, MC1s, Trail Bosses. So I broke it down. The two common plugs used is the B7HS that gets gapped to 24 thousandths to 28 thousandths. Same thing as the B80S. If you have an older 1979 not KE, 1979 or later Trail Boss or KE, it's going to be 28 thousandths to 32 thousandths. That's it. That's all there is to it. So, hopefully this answers your questions. Do not ever trust a spark plug. A spark plug will lie to you. It literally will. It's a liar. It'll do two things for you. Two things. It's going to tell you a story. What do I mean? By the color of the plug and how it burns. Okay? Where are you? It's going to tell me how it burns, how it looks. It's going to tell me the condition and the way that the carburetor is adjusted. My air-fuel ratio. If I need to jet. If my air filter's clogged. All that type of stuff. That's going to tell me a story. Okay, that's story time for Kevin. Right there, there's all kinds of them. Even little two-stroke chainsaw engine ones. See, that's a good looking plug right there. I keep a lot of them. This old one here. There's an old Champion spark plug. They used to stamp a motorcycle right onto it, or scooters. You can see where, I'm keeping that plug. That's pretty cool. But the spark plug is going to tell you a story. That's not the lying part. The lying part is that a spark plug can give spark and not run your bike because the spark is not hot enough. So if you have a misfiring, a sputtering, a not running correctly bike, before you go and tear your ignition coil out and think it's faulty, before you go and replace your pointer condenser because you think they're faulty, remember guys, these things are sealed. Okay? If you have your points in there and your points are running great, the bike is running great 1 minute, chances are it's not the points the next minute. Okay? Points last a very long time. I know a lot of you guys are into the CDI stuff, and I like the CDI too because it's got a lot of benefits. But don't degrade the points. The points might be mechanical, but if you watch my video and see how I do my points, you'll be quite impressed with the way, the longevity of them. They don't need to be replaced every year or every other year. They last a very long time. They need to be checked for gap, but that's about it. So make sure the first step you do, even if you're getting spark, change your plug. That's your first bet. Chances are this will stop you sputtering. You're kicking a fart and you're probably asking yourself, but if it's giving spark, it's got to be good. No, it's not. There is a carbon rod inside here. and that rod breaks down. And now instead of the spark being full power from here to the bottom, it's actually broken up inside here. Okay? And with that said, when that breakdown happens, it's not hot enough at this end to burn. Even starting fluid won't do it. So make sure, and by the way, this stuff is made by Gunk. I always use the good stuff. Starting fluid for gas and diesel engines. So, and you don't use a whole lot of it, you just use a quick squirt. So these two plugs are junk. And that's just because they gave spark but couldn't run the engine. So that's all I have for you guys for tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry I'm yawning so much, guys. I just wanted to get this video out there to you guys to help you out, because I know a lot of you guys have sputter, kicking, farting bikes. And, well, it's good to know that the first step on any diagnostics on a two-stroke engine should be to replace the spark plug. Always replace your plug if you suspect a carburetor issue. Pull your plug. Check it. It's the best way to go. Oh, man. I am so tired. I'm going to leave this up for a second so you guys can see it. Spark plug gaps and torque specification. Foot-pounds, top one's Newton meters. I know a lot of you guys are from other countries, so I like to put that in there for you guys. Alright, so with that said, I want to thank you guys. 574 subscribers, guys. That's awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate your support, and I hope you find my videos informative and helpful. And that's why I make them, to give you guys this information. And sometimes, you know, I get asked a lot of questions, and I tend to let them build up a little bit to find out which way we're going with this, so I can cover everybody's at the same time. I had a lot of people talking about coils, ignition coils, and they're like, nope, nope, nope. My spark plug was sparking, and it's still not running. And it's not the carburetor. I cleaned the carburetor, I put a new kit into it, change the spark plug. Trust me, change the plug. You should keep a spare plug with you anyway on any two-stroke, even a snow machine, because they foul so easy on a two-stroke. Why do they foul easy on a two-stroke than a four-stroke? Because these in a two-stroke are trying to burn oil as well. Keep that in mind. The four-stroke, they're not burning oil. They're burning just fuel and air. On a two-stroke, they're burning fuel, air, and oil. So keep that in mind. Anyway, guys, thank you again for watching. Yeah, so tired. And please subscribe. Have a good night. I'm going to bed.